good.
That's funny that we all had like for both. It was like we had 8 of the same people.
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling that this might, and I'm also surprised that one of us didn't get it perfect. I figured one of us would get the whole All-Star.
Oh well, I wasn't thinking because I was thinking of like in reality, I thought because you got what you got the East perfect, right?
I got
the West
the
perfect.
West perfect because I had Doncic. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would never got Kyrie, but I would never wanted Kyrie.
So we're gonna get into that. Lindsay, actually I'm gonna have Lindsay start because you're the only person who picked Kyrie, and Kyrie was the person who ended up getting picked. So talk to me about that.
I picked Kyrie Irving because I do take winning into account, especially with my All-Star starters. So they're the second in the East right now. He's playing really well, shooting efficiently and all that jazz. And I also just like watching him play. So I wanted him to be a starter because I think he deserves it. And also, I kind of feel bad for him. I feel like people are dicks to him.
Elaborate on that.
I just feel like there's a quick reaction and a quick way that people judge everything that he says.
50, 40, 90 on 28 a game for Kyrie. Again, he is my West sixth man. He's easily another one, kind of like in the Damian Lillard spot, like very similar position for me.
Yeah.
I didn't like him taking a random hiatus for no apparent reason and not telling his coach. That doesn't mean you don't get to be an all-star, but it does mean you don't get to start for me. that was my.
For me, he was actually not. He was like my 7th man, to be honest. Like I had Harden over him personally, but it's just because
Harden.
The thing I liked about what happened?
Harden was my starter, but go ahead.
Yeah, the thing that I liked about Harden was no one thought that he would be able to sacrifice. No one thought, like, I feel like no one expected him to truly be the point guard and be willing to like, and that kind of made me feel a little different about him. So that's what made me like him a little more, to want to pick him as almost a starter. But the reason I ended up picking Zach LaVine was because of, like, he's been elevating, especially this year, and then all the Jordan shit that they, like, him being like the second in Bulls history to score 40 whatever points and shit like that he's done during the year. So I feel like he was worth being a starter, and that it goes back to my case for Dame, where I was like I feel like if you do something to like impress me, like I wanted to reward you a little bit for it, but and that's why I had him as a starter. But I realized he was more than likely not going to be a starter. He was a starter in my eyes just because he's had a pretty good season.
Yeah. I again, LaVine, another guy. That's probably my 7th or 8th guy. I have LaVine on my list for once we get to the bench. But for me, again, same thing. This is the whole thing. I feel like, so Kyrie and Kevin Durant, when they started the season in Brooklyn, right? They were playing well, but they were considered, the reason why they were playing well is that they were efficient and their team was deep as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember I felt pretty confident that they would make the Eastern Conference Finals, but I definitely heard several analysts say, "Oh, I'm not sure if they have what it takes to get over the hump, whatever." Once they got James Harden and what he's been able to do, being the guy that does understand the offense, which is exactly what I had guessed for why he was such a hot commodity for them from a trade perspective, is because with D'Antoni and Steve Nash, they have a guy who knows the offense in and out. This is what we do. This is the game plan. And not news to me at all, but news to some people, Kyrie Irving called him the point guard. That's not news. That's not news.
Well,
That's
everybody.
the
I feel
guy's
like a lot of people
assist by a mile.
Yeah.
And he's amazing at distributing. So of course he's going to be the point guard. That's not. I don't know. I found that
averaging
to be like
24 and 11 is like, or 12 actually. Like
he's beasting.
Yeah, he's playing pretty amazing
and leading the league in minutes per game. On top of that.
Yeah.
So for me, it was
when everyone said that he was out of shape coming into the season. You know what I mean? Like that's.
But
that's
here's
pretty.
The thing. Are we sure that he wasn't wearing a fat suit underneath it?
He was not wearing a fat suit. His arms were fat. Like clearly.
His arms are still kind of fat, but his belly just like shrunk overnight. It doesn't even make sense. People were blowing that shit up on Twitter. It's hilarious.
He was lemon pepper Harden this time instead of lemon pepper Luz and lemon pepper Harden.
I didn't understand why, because I picked Harden. I picked Harden as a starter, and I didn't understand why that was controversial at all, considering the numbers he's been putting up and the impact he's made on that Brooklyn Ball Club.
You think that was controversial picking him as a starter? I thought that would be the starting lineup.
Me too. But yeah. But I clearly
because he was like I said, I thought the only way I've pretty much like I like what Zach LaVine has been doing over the course of the season so far. So I just felt I wanted to give him some respect for what he has done.
Yeah.
But in reality, like I could totally see that Harden probably should have been the starter. I just think between, forcing your team to trade you, only playing really like 13 games in the East versus LaVine playing the whole season in the East, and shit like that, that kind of just it just that's what made me move towards LaVine over Harden. But
also the other thing, like he really only like I was looking back at some of the numbers, there was a couple of games in Houston where he did not mail it in, but the last 3 or 4 games, he just like stopped. Like he definitely mailed it in. But
I think what he was trying to do was when he came into the season, he was heavy and stuff. So I think he wanted to show teams, look, I'm James Harden.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna let you know. Look, this is what I can do. And then now I'm not going to try anymore because I'm going to force these motherfuckers to fucking trade me. He's like, if I keep doing this, why would they trade me? Yeah. Like, think about it. If he was averaging 40, 13, and 8, why would you trade him? You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna just show. He just wanted to showcase his talent, say, look, I'm still James Harden. And then he's like, all right, now I'm not going to play anymore. So then these motherfuckers could do something.
I mean, I just felt like he's definitely playing like one of the best 10 guys in the league, much like we had talked about for some of these other guys on the list. Yeah. And if I was going to pick between Kyrie and Harden, I was picking Harden.
Yeah. But I just find, and just to push back a little, because you with Kyrie, me personally with Kyrie, it had nothing to do with his hiatus or anything. I just really didn't. I guess him not playing was part of the reason for me, like saying, "Oh, he didn't play as many games and stuff like that." But I didn't really like take the hiatus as like as a bigger deal as I guess you seem to have.
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily a big deal. Like, oh, I think it was super unprofessional when you don't tell your team.
Yeah. well, yeah, but so that's the reason I wanted to ask because. So you mentioned it with Kyrie, but with Harden, you seem to not have cared about him mailing it in on it.
It's a little different. It's a little different. In
Why?
my opinion. It's very different. James Harden was trying to get traded, right? It's to me that those are two completely different things. Either depending on who you believe, either Kyrie was trying to tank his trade value, right, to not be part of that Harden deal, or he took an unknown hiatus, which if he wants to keep the reasons to himself or the coach or whatever, fine. But when Steve Nash has to go in front of the media and go, "Yeah, I don't know where he is. I don't know. I don't know. No one's heard from him in days." Okay. That's fucking unprofessional.
But when you got guys in your team literally doing press conferences saying like what you did to this team is bullshit. Like, to me, like you still like. I feel like it's similar. It's not the same in terms of exactly what they did and what they were going through, but the impact that it had on the teams is still the same.
Sort
in terms of dividing up the locker room and making people feel away.
It divided Brooklyn's locker room though. It definitely divided Houston.
Well, the whole thing is he texted his teammates. He didn't text the coach.
It's so weird.
Yeah. So I mean, but the whole thing is it could be a lack of respect for the coach. It could be whatever the case, but it's still, to me, what he did is wrong too. But I was surprised that you mentioned him and not Harden when Harden did.
To me, those are like, I've seen so many guys try to get traded in that style. Like, I've seen the Harden situation happen before, I guess, where I've never seen somebody that, unless they were like, because normally they don't come back and just like, oh, nothing ever happened. It's back to normal. I'm going to shoot 50, 40, 90 and score 30 a game with ease, whatever. It doesn't matter that I was going. But like, I don't know. To me, that's worse. But I guess that's my opinion. In my opinion, that's worse. Like, I just don't. And I don't know why. I don't have an exact rhyme or reason for it. But it's maybe because it's new. I don't know.
Or because you don't like Kyrie.
I don't like Harden. That's the thing. You
don't?
No, I've had to defend Harden for a really long. I've had to defend Curry for a really long time because people would tell me that I would get.
James Harden was better.
Yeah, James Harden is better than.
Oh yeah, people are crackheads.
Yeah, well, and I've always considered James Harden to be incredibly selfish, etc. But he's definitely been more impactful to Brooklyn than Kyrie has even this year. Like, that's my opinion. It's my opinion. Like,
I don't know, man. I don't know. Kyrie's been balling. Yeah, Kyrie's been balling. He's definitely been balling.
It just depends. Would you rather?
I think just Harden is better. Like that's my whole thing. Is I think Harden is just better. Like when you're talking about tiers, it's literally like Kyrie, Harden, Durant. Like it's just
think?
Durant.
I feel like I was about to say. I feel like they're all a lot closer than you.
No. I don't have Harden
in terms of skill.
Oh no, I don't have Harden. Like Kyrie to me is a top 20 player. Harden and Durant are top 10 players to me. Well, Harden's top 10, Durant is top 5. Like that's how to me, and that's gaps to me. Especially like Kyrie is like clearly like he's like bottom. He's like from 15 to 20. That's where he's at in my list.
Even this season, I don't know if I'd say that for right now, this second.
Yeah, maybe not not. Sometimes you have season. I don't know, man. All right, let me count. I can count 10.
Really thought about it. 28 points per game. 28, 5 and 5, 50, 40, 90.
You have him in your top 10. I don't even have him in my top 10 this year.
I think he's close to being 10, to being number 10. But I'd have to think about it. And this is right now. I'm not saying this is last year or 2 years ago. I'm saying right now, this second. That's fucking impressive.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot of guys doing crazy shit in this league, and his stands out. It does. I didn't have him as a starter, but I that's why Brooklyn feels so unfair to a lot of people right now, is because they right now they're playing like 3 top 10 guys. They're not playing like the tiers you're talking about.
I guess. I don't know.
So
I mean, in that situation, obviously I can see why Kyrie looks great, because it's like you have a lot more one-on-one coverage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, also not only that,
like defense. Yeah.
We've talked about it before, how the Steve Nash now, but basically D'Antoni system has churned out MVP point guards and guards.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he's on my All-Star ballot, not my starter. So I was surprised that they.
Kyrie was my starter.
Yes, that's how we start. That's how we started this.
I just wanted to reaffirm in case you didn't.
So we all have Bradley Beal, and I feel like it was pretty. I feel like it would have been like disrespectful to not put Bradley Beal on the All-Star.
I almost put Harden above him.
It's
just crazy, man. Like
I thought about
he's averaging like 33, 5, and 6. Like that's like Harden shit. Like that's Harden by himself.
You know what it is though? You know what it is? This is the first season I've ever really seen where, in terms of for All-Star voting, winning is just not taken nearly into the same consideration that it usually does. Brad Beal would never have been a starter in well, maybe not a starter, but like, so since the starters are usually voted by the fans, maybe it would be different. But like, very rarely do guys who are at the bottom of their conference they were talking about it on Inside the NBA last night. There have been guys who have led the league in scoring and didn't make an All-Star team because they weren't winning. And I've never seen somebody do stuff like this and not get blamed for it. Like Brad Beal doesn't get blamed for any of the Wizards' problems. Usually, the guy who volume scores like this on a bad team is always judged heavily.
But you can like actively see him stressed out with the team. Like
but it's just like, you know what I'm talking about? Can you name another guy in your basketball watching career that you've seen get like Tracy McGrady? Remember when Tracy McGrady was like destroying the world and being awesome in the 2000s for like the Magic and wasn't winning at all? Yeah, he got on the All-Star team, but like
Kobe was one of them.
Kobe is one of those guys too, and that was held against him, especially.
No. You think, and like Kobe, the years that like in 06 when he averaged 35 and brought his team to the playoffs, that people were like,
well, he brought his team to the playoffs. The Wizards
the 8th seed, they were like
the Wizards have 8 wins. There's 8.
Yeah, but the whole thing is like Kobe's never had a season with less than like 20 wins. I feel like
that's how.
Besides his older
Kobe
age,
was an unquestioned All-Star. No one said anything.
Yeah.
But the reason why this is so controversial is because
I'm sorry, they have 9 wins. It's actually 9, not 8.
Hey, talk your shit, Lynn.
Single-digit victories.
Oh no, I was being completely sarcastic asshole. It doesn't really matter. It's still less than 10 wins, and he's an All-Star.
I'm trying to think of someone else who would have been. Yeah.
I just wish I would have bet the under on this team. I'm such an idiot. Should have bet the under. I knew this.
Yeah, because I was like, these guys. Well, they were like they had a lot of games that COVID fucked them over. Yeah, but still like nothing.
I mean, honestly, the main reason why he ended up on my starting unit above all else, he's my League Pass legend this year.
Yeah,
he is my pick for League Pass legend.
So Russell Westbrook has regressed.
What?
Yeah, Russell Westbrook has regressed. That's another reason.
You think?
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Are you being sarcastic or?
No, I'm not at all. Fucking what is he? Under 20 points a game this year, right?
Just barely. It's like 19.9 or some shit like that.
I see. Do you think? Oh, man, I think if it was a different situation, Russell Westbrook is. I think he can still play, but I don't think he can be the number one option.
Wait, wasn't he closer to like 15 or like 12 points a game? He's really not averaging that much, right?
I thought he was 19.9 when I last looked, and I was like yesterday or something.
Maybe I'm just wrong because he's just maybe not been scoring a lot recently, and that's maybe skewing.
No, I could be wrong. You could just sort out the points.
I'll go to assists because I know he's top 5 in assists. The stat monster, known as Russell Westbrook.
Stat monster. Oh, okay.
19 points a game, 9 and 9. Like these numbers are good, but he's shooting 40%, and in 2020, you can't shoot 40%.
He's shooting less than 30% from the 3-point line, which
like in 2001 and 2002, maybe
that was Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson was amazing when that happened.
The thing you should also be mad about is his free throw percentage.
All the Allen Iverson heads right now. What the fuck did you say? Yo, man. I remember that one time when we were doing Kobe's LB, and we talked about AI, and I was like talking about how his MVP was so great, and like people really got into that. Like They were like really felt like they were in the conversation. We respect y'all for that. Thank you.
But I think Russell Westbrook, if he was on like if he played for the Lakers, if he played for your team, I think he would be he would not contribute to losing the way he's contributing to the losing of the Wizards right now. I don't know why. I just think that it's solely his predicament that makes people think he's not like clearly he's regressed, but I think he's still a capable NBA player. For sure. As a matter of fact.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole thing is when you say like when you're talking about regression, you have someone who was a superstar in the top 10 player.
Yeah.
And now he's not. Now he's probably like a top 25, top 30 maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's probably the best. If he wanted to be on a championship team, he'd be a third option at this rate.
Yeah. Like you mellow now, nigga.
He's probably going to be looked back at as this era's Carmelo Anthony. It just depends on how his attitude.
Who's more? All right, time out. Who's more deserving of the Hall of Fame, Carmelo Anthony or
Russell Westbrook?
Yeah, it's not even fucking close.
Yeah, by
not even close. Way better player than Melo. All you Melo heads, go over there and start eating cock on the comments.
Yeah, yeah, please. Yeah, if you like Carmelo Anthony, watch this video.
I like Carmelo Anthony, but he's not even close to Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook got an MVP. Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double for 3 straight years. Melo has one scoring title to his fucking name, and that's the thing that he's supposed to be good at.
I remember the season he got the scoring title too, and it took till the last game of the season for him to beat Durant for the scoring title that season. It was like this whole big narrative to keep the last couple games like interesting.
So
speaking of weird and obscure thoughts, Lindsay, why is it Giannis a starter for you?
Yeah.
So for sort of the same reasons why I'm not super stoked about the Clippers this season is why Giannis is not a starter for me. Because I'm, like, lukewarm about him in the Bucks at the moment. So I just didn't really feel like making him a starter. He's on my bench. He's just not a starter.
You're on crack.
Thank
You're
you.
on PCP, Angel Dust.
Okay, you know what? You just need to shush.
But you
said I was crazy for making Embiid my, like, breakout player of the year. And now look at this. I think I'm the genius on this podcast, and everybody should.
Are you serious? Breakout player of the year? You talking about? You think? If y'all don't think Julius Randle is the breakout player of the year, y'all drunk. Y'all all right. But my whole thing is, you give Kawhi all-star edge, and then you don't give it to Giannis.
Yeah.
And Giannis has had a much better season than Kawhi.
Okay, and that's when my personal preference comes into play.
The beauty of All-Star is that it doesn't matter. You can have your own criteria.
I didn't take an All-Star like season away from him completely in my brain. I just didn't give him the starting position out of preference.
Hey, that's like the only 3 he hit this season.
Here's why. Again, similar to Kawhi and similar to a couple of other guys on our list here, I've had to find reasons, like different kinds of reasons to add these guys to become starters. And for Giannis, finally averaging over almost 34 minutes a game. He has had several games at this point where he's played over 35 minutes, as I get the per game, because I've been keeping track of this, trying to see minutes played. 30 to 39, 22 times 30 to 39, way more than his 20 to 29 minutes played.
What did he do last year?
It'll be like shocking. I'm pretty sure that number is going to be very different. I'll have to go back. Okay, so this is last year. Last year, 21 games in total.
And he had 30. Yeah.
He's almost at this point already.
Yeah. That's good.
Giannis.
I thought you'd be happy, but if you look at it, the production is down with the more points, which is what Budenholzer or whatever the hell that weirdo's names is thinks. So, who is really correct here, Russell?
Me, and I'll tell you why. Because in the playoffs, he's not going to be fucking tired when he has to play 40 minutes a game. and he's going to actually be able to do it with stamina.
But him, no, time. We're not about to. All right, this don't have to be a playoff thing, but we're not about to act like Giannis didn't look great because of his minutes. He didn't look great because he ain't got a jump shot. Has he got a jump shot yet? That's my thing.
On your own show, this has been my stance on Giannis for a while. He is not a jump shooter. I've been saying this for a while.
I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that's not you are stuck in the Giannis asshole.
I mean, you saw it happen
right?
just in a game this season.
This is his asshole, and this is your head, and you're stuck in his asshole right now, right? So I'm helping you right now, and I'm trying to pull you out, and it's stuck right now. So I'm letting you know he needs a jump shot. That's what's gonna save him.
Who's your starter?
Giannis, which is cool.
So
yeah, I'm not saying he's not a starter. I'm saying that I'm not about to freaking say, oh, he ain't do well in the playoffs because he couldn't play a lot of minutes because of it. Not like it was not even part of it. Like he didn't. They never made him play.
It's a huge.
They never made him play the minutes. They never even let him do that.
He shouldn't be shooting threes to begin with. He should be in the paint.
Yes, he should. Exactly. I agree. He should be playing in the paint.
Yeah,
and mid range.
No, that's what he needs. Posting up. He should be doing more post up because he's long and he could have a hook shot that no one could block.
Not when they're gonna double team him like they do.
Then you pass it out like you've been doing. Mm-hmm. Like it's not.
Then you force it. You can't. At some point,
just be like, listen, this guy's either gonna score 40 from mid range like Kobe, or he's never gonna win. It's not how it works.
I'm saying,
Shaq won a million championships shooting 60% from the free throw line and not being able to shoot outside the restricted area.
And Shaq couldn't even fucking make the finals without having a great guard next to him.
I agree.
He doesn't have a great guard next to him, and he plays more like a guard
next to him.
He does not play like he's not Shaq. Shaq played a majority. Like literally, if this was snap count, like the NFL, Shaq played 90% of his snap count in the fucking paint. Like literally, like posting up.
Giannis doesn't
posting up in the paint,
just like Shaq.
Yeah, Shaq put 90% of his snap count posted up in the paint. Give me the ball. I'm gonna do my little whoop whoop. Put my ass on you. Turn it up and dunk on you.
Yeah,
Giannis don't do that. Giannis dribbles the ball.
Worry about that more than shooting threes.
Giannis is like 60.
He should not be listening to you and going.
He listen to me. I win them championships. I'll tell you that one.
He should not be shooting it. He should be posting up, and they should trade Chris Middleton for Bradley Beal.
Yo, Giannis, text me. My number is 646, and I'll give you the rest after you hit me up on Twitter. I got you, boy. Oh, and you can help me plus your little Greek friends. I got you. I learned how to speak Greek and everything for you.
I thought you were really about to give out your phone number. I was like, that's
you're crazy.
Heard one. But let's see. Last guy I wanted to bring up on our starters, then before we get to the bench, is
the second MVP, right? Big boy.
Lindsay's breakout player of the year. And
the true best big man in the league.
Wow.
Yeah, he's my number one big man in the league this year.
I mean, his numbers really aren't that far off Jokic's in terms of efficiency too. Like if you're looking at it in terms of like comparing the big men like that.
And I'm always gonna take the defensive guy over the passing guy. You got a point guard for passing, bro. That's my thing. Like I'd rather see my guy do all those efficient shit and play lockdown defense because defense is gonna win you a championship.
Here's my thing. Since we just talked about Giannis, and I'm watching Joel Embiid doing all these sweep post moves and blocking shots, I just think, why can't Giannis do stuff like that? Why can't he just learn? He should go to Hakeem Olajuwon, because that's a thing that can be done. And him and Ben Simmons should go together. They should get on a plane and go together and learn how to do post moves like Big Papa Joel. Because look at how awesome he's been this year. He doesn't need, if he never shot threes, it wouldn't matter. But the fact that he has all this stuff is icing on the cake. His post move is his bread and butter. And
But he has a mid range though. Like that's what makes him.
I just said
elite.
that's icing on the cake. I think his bread and butter is the post up and the inside game, and that's finally the difference between Joel of years past and Joel of this year. It's because he got Doc Rivers, a certified old head, to go, what the fuck are you doing? This is the paint. This is the restricted area. See that semicircle? One of your fucking feet should be in the semicircle at all times.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, that was one thing. So I listened to Doc Rivers on the I think it was All the Smoke podcast.
Yeah.
And he was talking about what he did with his with like the Celtics or like any of his teams. Like he always told the player, like, you have a role. Like you gotta play your role. Mm-hmm. And he must have done that with Embiid, like saying, like, bruh, you don't gotta do all this shit. Like it's very simple. Let's make it a simple game. You the big man, you doing this, and that. And like you mentioned, like you predicted this earlier in the season. Like when before the season even started, you thought that Embiid was gonna have a breakout year. Or not breakout year, but great year.
Very Podmother called the breakout year.
Yeah, the breakout year was Lin. He is having a good year. To me, you just can't break out when you're already a superstar. It just doesn't.
So this is the thing. This is my thing.
I think it's more of like a breakout of his reputation is also helping as well. Like he's playing better, but then he's also being just more assertive almost.
Yeah.
I did not understand the case for breakout player of the year when the season started. I agree with Dario. I felt like he was already a superstar, but he is definitively better than he was. Like a whole step above. And I didn't know that was in him. I really didn't. Right. I really like Joel, but I didn't know if he had that in him.
And it's not to just but my whole thing with breakout is like it has to be someone you didn't even think about at that point, and then he breaks out and he's like, and you're like, wow, I didn't even know this guy was this good. Like that to me is what breakout player means. And that's why my boy Julius Randle is the breakout player of the year.
For you, Dario, you would consider Joel Embiid the winner of the fucking Finally award.
Exactly. Like, bro, we knew you were nice. We thought you were nice. You've been averaging 28 and 11 before. Like, you just doing it like how you supposed to. And that's cool. Like, and you great. Like, we know you great. But to me, it's just like, yeah, exactly. Like, fucking finally, do what you got to do. Stop having tummy aches and fucking play, little bitch.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but that's my homie, Joel. He best big man in the league right now. He about to make it to the NBA Finals. And you about to lose to LeBron James. And LeBron about to win his 5th ring. We're about to win our 18th championship. And
I don't know if Joel's getting through these guys. And more specifically, this man.
We're going to be the greatest. I didn't get to finish my little spiel before you.
The greatest.
We're going to be the greatest franchise in NBA history. All right? Fuck them Celtics. Them Celtics ain't win a championship in more than 20 years, more than one championship in more than 20 years. We don't talk about y'all. In the last like 20, 30 years, we won like 11, 15 something championships. We whoop y'all asses, you little pussies.
Look,
I have a question.
So let's talk about Brooklyn real quick. Huh?
We talked about those two,
Boston, they'd have more championships. So
we have talked in a previous podcast about those two, like Minneapolis or whatever championships and whether they counted, right?
That too. Right. A bunch. They more.
It's like 5. It's like 5.
Oh yeah. So like, do they count?
What do you? All right. So is it cool that the Celtics won championships when there was 8 fucking teams? Like we counting those though, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Fuck out of here.
We're counting those.
100%. Bill Russell play around here, man. We would have fucked him up. That's how we do out here.
We look.
But are those players considered Laker legends?
Who?
That won those championships.
Yeah, of course.
Who fucking cares?
I'm just curious. I'm just fucking asking a question, bitch.
We always talk about them, you know.
Kevin Durant is about 90% back.
Oh my God! All right, time out. We already argued about this. His thing with 90% is that he doesn't do this one move that he hasn't seen. So he's 99% back. He just fucking want to see one move. So
I want to see the fast twitch muscles in the feet. But
this man is the second best player in the league.
Look, how many games do you need for MVP this year? Like, how many games played do you need to have?
I'd assume since it's 73, I want to see at least six. I mean, the
65?
73, 72, I want to see at least. Nah, you could give me 62, 63 games and you can win MVP.
Well, the regular number is 60 to be eligible. That's
For MVP?
the number. Yeah, with 82 games.
Yeah, but in my eyes, you gotta win. You gotta play 60 games.
It's not the
60,
NBA.
60.
Dario MVP.
Yeah. What we talking about? Fuck, what are we talking about? Like, if you really look at it, no MVP has ever won with less than like
right. But this is
something.
a different. This is a different. That's why I specifically asked how many games.
So why don't you just bump it back 10 games? Because it's what, 72 compared to 82, so it's 50 games.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
all
I'm
right.
saying.
So if Kevin Durant plays 50 games, he's got to be top 3 in MVP voting. If he keeps up the numbers he's keeping up, he's.
I don't know. I don't agree.
And he's whenever the Nets are playing, he like it's so weird. You want to talk about a quiet? You were talking before about Kawhi Leonard's quiet 26 points. He's so effortless with the way he's.
That's always been him, though. Like
I know,
me,
but like
yeah,
even more so in this offense where it's like
it's just
very
so lethal.
Houston predicated on that isolation. You know what I mean? Like that.
Like he's the only player in the NBA right now that I think can score 30 points off less than 15 shots. Like
there's a couple of guys in the league that are capable of that, but it's a short.
He does it so regularly.
He's short list. Like, he's definitely on it.
Yeah.
Okay. I just love Kevin Durant. I'm rocking old school Kevin Durant.
My whole thing with Kevin Durant for MVP is when you have two guys averaging 24 plus in your team, you can't be fucking MVP. Like two. Like remember, we already talked about it for Kobe, Shaq. Like we show like during the legacy breakdowns, they fucked each other up for MVP because they were averaging 25 a game. Like if you were averaging 25 more a game, you got lowered on MVP. So to have two players averaging 24 plus a game, you can't be MVP at all. Like it's just
what? I'm so impressed.
He's amazing though. Like
easily.
Like I wanted him to win MVP, but it's just
as long as he finishes this year, he'll have the greatest comeback from an Achilles injury ever. By a lot. The measuring stick has been set.
Yeah.
Or fucking what a Achilles. It's like when Adrian Peterson came back from the ACL and set that shit. It's like, you come back from ACL, you're good now. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Achilles, same way.
Yeah.
The way these guys are powering through these injuries that other guys' career ended. Like legends. Yeah.
And like look at how he shoot. Like it's just so crazy. Like he's shooting 50.
Yeah,
what is it like?
Hold on, I was looking.
I think you just had it. He's right. He's 6. He's shooting 50, 40, almost 90 or 87. But still, like it's
and like it's you and 29 points a game on 19 shots.
And that was, and remember, some of those were games without Harden. Like a lot of those actually were games without Harden. So
yeah,
it's crazy.
That's my whole thing. Like, I'm just so surprised he's able. And also, when we're talking about minutes played per game, he's right in the conversation here, 10th.
Yeah,
in minutes played per game after fucking again after an injury that has just fucked everybody up.
Yeah.
He's like, oh no, I'm gonna play like I'm 32, but fuck it, I'm still in my prime.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
And a lot of those games that he missed were like COVID related. Like so it's not like it was just because he was like taking like some of them were rests, like he didn't really play some back-to-backs and stuff like that, but a lot of it was like COVID related.
But I'm hoping he's able to get to the games, what do you call it, to that game requirement, because I'm interested to see. I think you're right. I think he will probably take a hit. I didn't think about that with the 24 points a game. That's a good point. But
and my whole thing is like there's just too many people. Like it's hard for me to have him over like if Steph could get his team to like 4th or 5th seed, if he somehow does that, because they're in 7th right now.
Yeah.
If he could push them to 4th, 5th, like there's no way Steph can't be in top 5. Damian Lillard, top 5 MVP. Joker, if he goes up, we already have LeBron in there. We have Embiid in there. Like, so it's just hard to imagine that they have. The only reason I could see people like trying to push for that is because he's coming off of an Achilles, but it's just like it doesn't make sense. He has two freaking superstars on his team.
Is he like automatic comeback player of the year? We have comeback player of the year in this, right? Isn't it? Or maybe it wouldn't be most improved. Fuck, that's an NFL award. I feel like he would be.
It should be. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got my sports confused. My bad.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
He would have easily won comeback player of the year.
Do you think Kevin Durant is the second best player in the league right now?
The league is so stacked right now.
Yeah. Do you think he's the second best player in the league?
Yeah, sure. I feel like who I'd want to win a playoff series. I feel like he's probably the second guy.
So my next question is, if he's 90%, how is he still second best player in the league? I just want you to say 99. Just say 99, Russell.
No, he could still be best player in the league and be 90%. He could still.
Oh my God.
He could still be that.
That means you thought
he's so effortlessly good at scoring, and he's still playing so many ridiculous minutes.
Is that how much greater LeBron is than him?
Yes. Well, that goes without saying.
That's crazy.
And like, if Giannis had a jump shot, he would be above KD.
Oh, never.
But never he'll have a jump shot, or never he'll have a jump shot.
He would never be above KD. No, he would never be above KD. I'm not even trying to be stupid or anything.
Yeah, he definitely would if he had a jump shot. He'd be
absolutely not. It's just not.
Why did you get so deep in your voice? You're just like, no, absolutely not.
No, it's just like, I just have to let it be known. Like, it's not even, no. But I remember people used to try to tell me that like a couple of years ago, and I was just like, you guys are on crack. Like, even looking at me, telling me this. Like,
well, who's a better defender for you, Giannis or KD?
Giannis is obviously with the stats and stuff, but if you're talking about like one-on-one defender, I think they're very close.
I think it's not, because Giannis can guard 5 positions, and
that whole guarding 5 positions there is. Can you stick with a scorer? I think Giannis would not. If you put like you said, when you put KD in front of Giannis, he has an issue. You want to know why? Because you can't move with him. KD can move with a guy like that. He's not. I think they're very similar. Like, their on-ball defense is close. I think Giannis, where he gets them, is like being able to like his help defense is better. Like shit like that. Like,
I think that's KD's greatest defensive asset is his help defense.
Yeah, and Giannis is better than him at it.
Giannis is better.
But I think, and I think KD's on-ball defense is better than Giannis's on-ball defense.
I think that's totally up for debate. I don't agree with that actually at all. But
that's fine. I'm cool with that. And then the offensive skill set is just like not even close.
Yeah, well, that's like I said. But if Giannis had a mid-range jump shot, it would be way closer, a lot closer.
No, it won't though. It really won't.
Giannis is equal to Kevin Durant around the rim, 100%. Or a little better.
Okay, but Giannis would never be. Literally, Kevin Durant is arguably the greatest mid-range shooter ever, next to Michael Jordan. Like Michael Jordan and then Kevin Durant.
Right.
Like it's not even like Giannis would.
Shaq, Wilt Chamberlain, and Giannis.
If you're telling me Giannis is gonna be KD mid-range level, sure. But Giannis, I can't even imagine him being a top 20 all-time mid-range guy. So that's why I'm like, it's not even close, because then you got KD being one of the greatest three-point shooters ever. Like, it's like
shooting is just so much more of a. You just love shooting so much.
The
same way you say that I love big men and just like ride.
No,
it's
talking about when you're talking about offensive. If you're talking about someone who's offensively skilled, like him being able to shoot from any place on the court makes him deadly. Like, that's what makes him like way better than Giannis offensively. Like, you have to worry about him from no matter where he's at on the court, which like puts so much more pressure on the defense versus, all right, I gotta just stop this guy from going to the paint.
I just think nobody's. If you gave Giannis like a real like that Joel Embiid style post game with like footwork and shit,
But you don't got to give KD anything. That's like you're saying. If you give him, no, you don't got to give KD shit.
Which is what I started by saying is.
But you giving him a mid range. You're giving him
I said Kevin Durant was the second best player in the league. Did I not? And I said that he was better than him. So that's how I started this.
It's just so much that you have to give Giannis to even come close. Like, dude, to me, that's why it's like
you hate guys who can't shoot. It's that simple.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't go.
You're like racist against non-shooters.
Yeah, you can't go far without shooting. That's a fact. Unless you are a big man that has a great guard with you. It's historically proven.
And that's why as soon as people get that in their head about Giannis, it'll be better. I agree with you completely. All right.